It's live again! Hooray! I think it's
Yay!
live. Yeah, I think it's live. My recording program is frozen for a second. 60 seconds. Yeah, we're live.
Are we live or not?
We're live! As in,
Okay.
I'm recording this shit again.
Yeah.
It's October 5th, I think. Yeah,
Yep.
October
Day
5th.
before my birthday.
Hooray! How old are you gonna be?
I'm going to be 22 tomorrow.
22. Jesus Christ.
Me.
Compared
Yeah, I'm young compared to you.
Yeah, all of a sudden I feel old. I'm 24, 25 in January.
Jared, for some reason I thought you were in like your mid-30s.
What?
People always assume that. There are
I don't
people
know.
that refuses to believe I'm under 40.
I wouldn't have said 40, but I mean, like with your obsession with Marble Madness and older games like that, I just placed you in the mid to early 30s.
Oh man, did you know that the Game Boy is 40 years old this year?
40? Wow.
Well, it's not because it's about 26, but yeah, I just wanted to make you feel
Thank you.
older.
I'm
Thank
wasting
you.
away.
I was gonna say 40. I was like checking my math. I was like, I'm not that bad at math. I mean, I'm gonna trust 6. 6 is like the math king. So I was like, man, I guess it.
You placed your
Yes.
trust incorrectly.
Well, now
Apparently so. So anyway, topic today: luck in games. I would have a nice little topic list, but I managed to forget to save it when I wrote it down, and I haven't really had time to write a new one, so I'm gonna have to do this on the fly. But
Memorize it.
yeah,
Should we talk about what we've been doing in the past 2 weeks with games before we get into our weekly topic?
yeah, I was coming to that. Don't worry about it.
Oh,
So,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't mean to step on your toes.
No worries. Yeah, so we're gonna do without my usual list of things to go through. But before we go that, what's everyone been up to? Haha, gotcha.
Is anybody's answer not Smash 4? Because if your answer is not Smash 4, you can go ahead and talk first.
I got it yesterday.
Fine. I guess it's because I wanted to wait and see if anything bad was going to happen before I actually picked it up. But I guess it's not going to happen now. I guess
not-
I have to go.
You don't have it yet, Tazzy?
No, not yet. I've been waiting and seeing if there's like something that's going to happen, like, oh, it crashes or something that's going to... I know that means that. That's a worry that I might not have faith in Nintendo, but...
Well, there's already an update out. Like, patch 1.0.2 is already out. Like, I actually downloaded the patch before I got the game. So, I mean, if there was like a problem like that, Nintendo's been much better lately about actually getting on top of that. Like Mario Kart. Mario Kart 7 was the first game I remember Nintendo actually like patching a glitch out. Like, there was a huge shortcut, unintended shortcut in Woohoo Loop, Maka Woohoo.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
They patched it out, and I was like, "Whoa, Nintendo! Welcome to the 21st century." I guess.
Oh yeah, they've been doing that kind of recently, I guess. Has there been any patch that adjusts like non-bugs?
Like balance patches.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the first game that would be even relevant for is Smash. So if there's a balance patch, we'll see. I doubt that there will be a balance patch. If anything, it'll be a bug fix patches. I don't foresee a balance patch happening. That just doesn't seem like Nintendo's MO.
So, about me, on one hand, mostly I've just been making slow progress through every game that I've been playing, but since we are talking about games in general, I've started going to, the thing is, like, a lot of the people in the circle of friends that I'm in are into tabletop games. So, they actually have, like, a group that get together every Friday, and they play, like, role-playing games, like, 1 week it's Feng Shui, and 1 week it's just Dungeons and Dragons in general. And I'm already part of, like, a session on, like, every other Saturday to play D&D. But on Fridays, that usually means I get left alone, and they started inviting me to like the Friday games. So I get invited to one thing of Feng Shui and one thing of like D&D, and I started like last week. So that's actually like it's interesting to see how that conflicts differently from how I'm used to, from like my first D&D group, and how like they move forward a lot faster, or like they're more used to it than like
you have lots
the
of
other.
that's with you have great diversity in groups. I mean, I myself haven't been into that many role playing games with tabletops and whatnot, but I've been in 3, and everyone have been kind of different.
I've never done a whole lot of role playing games myself, like tabletop games. I kind of live vicariously through PanFan, who he does a couple different, like, I know in high school he had a game called Caverns and Monitor Lizards, which was a D&D knockoff that his friend made. And right now I think he's got a character named Foxy Swift. Her name is Foxy because she's a fox, and her last name is Swift because she's 22 years old. So I've never really done tabletop role playing, but I've always been a little interested, but never had the time for it.
Yeah,
Same story here, except there's nobody in my circle that
Actually,
enjoys that enough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you mostly just have to have like, you mostly just have to have like 20-sided dice and be pretty good at keeping up with what like you write down on your character sheet, which I have very bad.
I played MTG, so I've got 20-sided dice, but no worries there.
I have dice; they're just not used for tabletop stuff.
And I know, just a quick there on the write everything down on paper. Map tools is a lifesaver in that regard, because you can keep track of everything with all the macros you can make.
Yeah, well, other than that, I haven't been making any progress in video game. Well, not anything that would consist to, I beat this or I've beaten that. It's mostly just making progress as I go along.
The only thing I've been playing besides Smash and poker would be Crypt of the Necrodancer.
Oh, Crypt of the Necrodancer
nice.
is so fun.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead, Jared.
Okay, I've kind of fallen off from playing that. I got the taste of it with the early access, and I'm really hoping to get back into it when the full game is released. But I loved what I played. How are you enjoying it, Six?
I really enjoy the default music and just beating along to it, and I still haven't gotten anywhere close to completing the hardcore mode. So that's what
I can't even beat Zone 3.
That's what I do for a few minutes at a time.
Yeah,
Zone 3 is just beyond me. I can't handle it.
I have to say I haven't actually played that game. I watched a friend of mine doing a 24-hour stream a couple of weeks back, and then he played it with with one of those dance mats. That that was an experience.
I'd be willing to try it with the dance pad. I mean, dance pad mode is a little bit dumbed down. I mean, not dumbed down, but it's not as difficult. So I wouldn't do that at all. That'd be fun.
I think it is so. It is actually doable.
But the lower difficulty is totally offset by our lack of shape.
You say that, but I've seen overweight people master like DDR like nobody's business. So.
Last time I played DDR, I got so winded I had to like sit down afterward. I
was like,
I haven't played. I was like, I haven't played DDR in a couple of years, and there's a DDR machine at this Dave and Buster's. I'm like, I might as well show off for my friends. I can do hard mode, and I get on there, and afterward I'm like, holy crap, Dave and Buster's is not a good place to play DDR because I had like fries and a burger, and it's just bad news.
Yeah, I don't think you should play that game after a big meal.
No.
What I've been up to with on behalf of gaming is I'm getting back into League of Legends. I'm trying to. I've been trying to play a bit of games on my older consoles again, but I haven't really put some time and effort in anything else besides League. And,
I still play LOL once a day, but people are still way too abrasive.
Yeah, that
for my
community.
taste.
That community is cancerous.
yeah.
Jeez,
A lot
it's
of
almost unbelievable.
Yeah.
And,
All right, Jared. Let me
just-
guess, Jared. I'm gonna just guess that you like to play jungle. Am I correct?
You
I
are
barely even
absolutely
play the-
not
I barely even-
correct. I
No,
can
you
play
don't like
jungle
jungle?
to save my life. I'm a
okay.
support.
I was gonna guess top lane. Oh, well, whatever. I'm bad at this.
I like
Unless it-
jungle and support, but I mostly just play the bridge.
Oh, the ARAM.
ARAM.
Yes.
Yeah. That's fun too. Yeah, and I did a quick round of Civ 5 online game. And that's actually a perfect segment into our main topic today, because playing that game online is like a freaking... it's luck-based. Because you never know if you're gonna go correctly, if someone's gonna disconnect and cause some really funky glitch that causes everything to just shut down. Because that game, I think it lasted for about 3 hours. In the first 15 minutes, we did 3 turns.
3 turns.
3 turns. Then
Those
one
I guess that
are-
person...
explains why I've never played Civ.
After that time, one of the people disconnected. Then we did 3 more turns, and then another person disconnected, and all of a sudden, all of our rounds were going as they should be. Just you do what you want to do, and then click next, and then you wait for everyone else to finish up. And
What's
then
the reference of what a normal turn takes?
Yeah. So that was fun. Then we played an
How
hour.
long would a normal turn take, Jer?
In the beginning, like 5 seconds.
Oh, okay.
5 seconds, and then it goes to around 30 seconds to maybe a minute. But as I said, it didn't really happen that way. And then about midway, we had one guy disconnect, and he couldn't reconnect, and the computer just refused to let him in again. So we had to wait for the 2-minute timer to go down before we got to take our next turn.
So that's not so much like luck in game design as much as it is luck in
Networking.
game. Yeah, and networking. I think that's a little different than.
Tomato.
Yeah, the
But I
thing
mean,
is,
game design hinging on luck is a totally different ball game, and it's something that I'm really interested in hearing Six talk about, because the puzzle master himself joining us as a guest today is treat.
Yeah.
So
yeah, maybe we should let Six introduce himself a bit more.
that's true.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? What you do?
My hands aren't shown on the screen.
Well, hi. I create way too many puzzles and games for various members. I do, well, way too much metagaming and Mafia topics. And I also play a lot of luck-based games when I have the chance. That includes roguelikes, card games, strategy games. And if you want to go talk about more abstract RNG, then stuff like Mario Kart and Smash applies very well as well.
Okay, yeah. I've been looking into some of the number generators in some of those games. It's quite fascinating, actually. But-
Side note:
Yeah.
Peach's forward smash is no longer random in Smash 4. It is a set order this time. It always
Ooh.
goes racket, golf club, frying pan. So little RNG removal from the sequel of Smash.
That's really nice. That's really nice.
Mhm.
It is, yeah. But before we go ahead and delve deeper, I think we need to, as we, locking games is a really broad statement. So, how would we define the lock? Because I was reading up a bit on it, and the problem is really that dice roll. The only really random I could find was dice rolls. As soon as we start to come into computer gaming, you don't really have a true random number generator.
Well, I guess it kind of depends on where you're looking. I mean, like, I know no example is going to come straight to me, but there are bosses that, like, basically rely on doing something completely random, which can usually result in a sort of situation where... Well, actually, I think I can think of an example, but it would require a bit of explanation. But basically, it's the sort of idea where you have this list of attacks, where it's like jump, fireball, stomp, and like open.
And then a really long one that you don't want to wait through the animation. Like,
okay, yeah.
Every boss is one of those.
And like the idea for the AI's like thought process is just to kind of randomly pick through one of those, and you don't notice it, and you never notice it until that one time where he does the long-winded attack that you don't want to wait through 3 times in a row.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
So, it can be bad, but I can also see how something like luck can really be the point. Like, in Pokemon, how you wade through tall grass looking for a certain type of Pokemon, like one that's really not very common. And it makes and you could argue that it would make finding something that you want a lot more worth it if you have to go and wade through a bunch of other ones that you don't want. So, I suppose that's kind of just being really simplifying it. But I can see how, like, luck is like a necessary evil. Something that, while you don't like it, it's basically the closest thing you have to, like, making something that isn't going to be absolute, like, something that isn't just really rigid. Something that actually feels like more real than just kind of having certain parameters being set by computers or some way.
Mm-hmm. You want to hear a really old example of this?
Sure.
Yes.
Pac-Man.
Yes.
In Pac-Man, the way the ghosts move seems random, but it's actually entirely deterministic, and each ghost has a slightly different behavior for how they'll act each and every move.
Yeah.
So, because of that, if you choose to do the exact same sequence of where you go, each level, you will know exactly how the ghosts move. And therefore, if you do that pattern perfectly each level, and then up until maybe the 20-something level where it hits maximum speed, if you just repeat that pattern multiple times, you're going to get the highest score possible in the game eventually after 255 levels.
Yeah, because they don't... they go after the same framework, so to speak.
Yeah, and I think it's not as impressive a demonstration of skill as it is just not breaking the pattern memorization.
Yeah,
It's not truly adaptation. The sequel, Ms. Pac-Man, solves that very elegantly because in the first several seconds, the ghosts move randomly.
Ah, nice.
So you can't really judge how... You can't really pick a specific pattern and stick to it the whole time. You've got to actually react to them a bit, which is a little bit more skill-intensive. So that's where I think RNG should be used.
Yeah, it's...
For those listeners who don't know, RNG is a pretty common acronym that you'll hear frequently for random number generator. You'll hear speedrunners use it a lot because a lot of times speedrunning strategies will try to manipulate RNG or they just have to like suffer through some RNG that give them really negative results.
Or really positive results, depending on...
Or positive results, exactly. Like the cyclones in Wind Waker. One of the speedrun strats in Wind Waker used to be sail into the cyclone, and then the cyclone has 6 different drop points, and you wanted to get the one by Outset Island. So you had a 1 in 6 chance of getting by Outset Island, and if you got it, great. If you didn't, then you had a lot of sailing ahead of you. So that's what RNG is, and that's mostly what we'll be talking about throughout this podcast, I think, because RNG is pretty much the biggest / only manifestation of luck in video games specifically.
Indeed. There's also an RNG that you can manipulate because it's not truly random. It uses other outside noise that sometimes you can control, called pseudo-random number generator.
Yeah, that said, we might as well specify that most random number generators in all video games, I think I said this before, but I think it's good to repeat it. It's not a true random number generator because they take values from the game and do some number work with them, and they give out the certain number when combined, and that number isn't truly random because if you find out what numbers it tries to it goes after, you can kind of manipulate them, like Merling said.
Which is interesting because sometimes, in fact, a lot of the time, the determinators for what the pseudo RNG will produce are completely unrelated to the situation. The one example I can think of is Final Fantasy VI. There you can manipulate usually Doomgaze is a random boss that you find while you're flying in the airship in the World of Ruin. But if you go into a town, and it's a specific town, can't remember which one, and you watch a NPC, if they go up twice, like up once and then up again, and then you leave the town immediately and get in the airship, you will find Doomgaze in like 10 seconds. So there's no reason why that NPC's movement, which is also random, there's no reason why that NPC's movement should determine Doomgaze, but for some reason the pseudo RNG crosswires happen to line up on that specific NPC, and then you can find Doomgaze by manipulating. So
today I learned something. I thought you had to hit one specific spot on the world. It's just time.
Yeah, there's a lot of RPG games where you can take this to extremes. I know Seeking Necessity 3. I don't remember exactly because I couldn't find the topic for it, but I know you can manipulate the everything in that game by pretty much everything. So yeah, it's a really weird algorithm going on there. But if I remember this correctly, you can basically just score critical hits and get the drops you want just by waiting and saving and doing stuff like that. The problem is I couldn't find this article I was looking for, so I can just graze a bit on the top of it. But if I find it again, I'm gonna go back to it and discuss it a bit more in later episodes. But I just wanted to throw it out there.
The idea, there's an idea that did come up to my head, but mostly it's just like it's another Pokemon example, like mostly like roaming Pokemon and how like they act, and like I only know this because I would usually take the idea of going in and out of towns, trying to manipulate it so that it's in a good spot, so that it doesn't so that I can actually try and get a chance at taking it. Because I hate those stupid things with a passion.
You're talking about Suins, Entei, and Raikou in Gold and Silver.
Suicune. Yeah,
well, not just them, but yeah, them. And how
Latios, Latias, those Pokemon, the roaming legendaries, yeah.
Yeah, and though although they usually kind of go in like whatever random pattern they feel like, it does you'll find that they do kind of tend to take being stuck on whatever path they're on unless you fly. So like if you go in and out of towns, it'll like go along certain paths, and sometimes it'll go away from you, but sometimes it'll go towards you. So you can sort of manipulate that so that it goes somewhere nearby, so that it won't like move away in opposite direction. So like it won't go away when you try and like rush over to it.
Oh yeah, I remember one of the birds did that, and you had to find it multiple times, and just had to find the best path to corner it at whatever location it started at, because if you fly, it just totally resets where it goes.
You had to find a city that has like 3 paths branching off of it, so that you can get at least one of the routes when it lands there. So right now we're kind of in the realm of RNG manipulation, which isn't truly random. I'm wondering if we can think of anything that is like really random and that really involves luck, like critical hits and things like that, or the Mario Party die roll, things in
Mario Party in general.
Well, Mario Party in general.
You land on a space, you get a hidden block, it shows a star.
That's never happened to me because Mario Party hates me. So I actually am wondering: is Mario Party random, or does the game board target the people who win the mini games? Because if I win the mini games, that's why I can even stand a chance in Mario Party, because the board targets me. Ask UN, ask PanFan, they know.
Yeah.
Okay, this is actually a big thing where I think where a lot of people get things wrong is that the presence of luck in a game does not mean is the absence of skill. Like it's just one axis. It's 2 axes, an X and a Y, some with a degree of luck and a degree of skill. Like, I posted this in a topic once, but it didn't get that much attention. So I'm trying to rethink what my examples were in my head. I think no luck and minimal skill would be something like tic-tac-toe. Complete luck, no skill would be something like Candyland.
Mm-hmm.
And then all skill, no luck would be something like Super Meat Boy.
Yeah, or chess, debatably, depending on your super technical definition of luck.
Yeah.
And all luck and no fun, Monopoly.
And then you have the high luck, high skill games like Mario Party, Magic, or Poker.
Okay. That makes sense. So where on that XY plane do you personally want a game to land? I mean, this is a very subjective question. I don't know.
Yeah, that's really weird. I mean,
It really depends. You go first, though.
I guess it kind of deals with the sort of journey I had through Mario Kart 8 once I got it. Like, for a while, it did kind of feel like, this is still true, but like, for a while, I got stuck on I think it was 150cc Shell Cup, and for the longest time, it would feel like the rubber band AI would mess with me, and sometimes it would just be like I would get creamed by a series of items and be brought back to 8th place, even though I tried as hard as I could to stay in front. And it would usually feel like I was getting... And in fact, actually, a lot of it also played into online matches where I felt like I did the best I could, and nothing happened. I would stay in the bottom place no matter how hard I tried to get ahead. But, I guess, like, I do like to think of myself as someone who likes to have a bit of luck along with being able to have skill as a part of it, because I'm not the best game player, but I like to think. But I'm someone who likes fun more than like just either completely defeating somebody or like. I guess it just kind of equates to Smash Brothers in general and how I like items more than I like just playing a game normally. There's like that little bit of chance, that little bit of like being able to like anything could happen. And that's, but getting back to Mario Kart, as I played, I started figuring out that if like using items like effectively would increase my chances of victory, even in the onslaught, like in case somebody had an item waiting or like waiting for the right moment, and I started using them more effectively, and I managed to actually do a lot better as a result. So, but the thing is, like, it wouldn't be possible if like you had that bit of luck. So I mean, like, people would like to think like like if you listen to people, they would love a game that has no luck and it's all about skill and it's all about like it only matters how good you are, and any matter that like is taken out of your hands isn't fun. It's not enjoyable. It's not this thing. I don't want it. But the truth is, we should, and I'm like, it's something that you would learn, and it's like, while you may not like luck, and I didn't enjoy luck while I was playing through it at first, as I like started understanding the mechanics and like appreciating what I would be getting from these things, like I would like before I would hate mushrooms, but then I started realizing you can use those to get ahead. You can use those to as long as you don't just spam them.
Yeah.
You can, and as that like suddenly like that luck could really turn on your side, and as they make it like a game of chance, they make it so whatever item you use, you have to use effectively. So technically, using luck basically plays into, I mean, like, you want a bit of luck, because if you didn't have luck, it would basically come down to one boring old strategy. But if it's luck, you could suddenly get a bad hand, and you're like, well, there's nothing I can do to try and change this. I have to use the bad hand to my advantage until I get something good, or turn that around and use the bad hand in the way it's supposed to actually get a win.
Basically,
so in that way, luck actually could add to a game's skill, because in that sense, it makes it so that you have to think on your feet, so that you don't like stick to a certain strategy, so that you don't like only stick to what works, so that you have to deal with what doesn't work, so that what doesn't doesn't ensure a victory. Because if it was just that, you would have this, like, people complain about that too, but not as much as luck, but you don't realize it because you don't realize it when it works. You only realize it when it dooms you.
Oh yeah, there's several things in that. The first thing I would say is that if there were no random items in Mario Kart, a lot less people would be playing the game.
Yeah.
Because it would just be cartoony Gran Turismo, and why do people? The reason I don't play Gran Turismo is because it's not Mario Kart.
Yeah, items are totally necessary because anyone has the chance to beat anyone in one race. However,
the item works as a kind of to scramble up the field, so to speak.
Equalizer.
Yeah.
However, as you play tons of races or tons of matches or tons of hands, you and everybody else will get roughly the same amount of luck, converging more and more as you play more and more. And the thing that will separate who wins more is those elements of skill, like who drives better, who drifts better around those corners, who bets with their cards better, or who reacts to their opponent's attacks better.
Yeah.
And in that vein, I think that Mario Kart 8 is the most balanced Mario Kart yet, in terms of item usefulness and item randomness, but also like how you drive and the skill that you put into your driving is really, it's way more important than any item you'll ever get. I think Mario Kart Wii was probably the least balanced, just because there were so many items all the time. But I think 8 has done the best job of any other Mario Kart so far of really oh shoot, I can't think of the word. But either way, like, if you are good, you will win more often, even if you do lose a couple like outlier races, that kind of thing.
I haven't played that game, so have you played any online matches where somebody just pulls way ahead and never gives up the lead ever?
Yes,
That's him.
because thank you, Taz. I have done that. I've been that guy. I've also been the guy that's been trying to get back to the guy who's in first. Racing in first place is way better in Mario Kart 8 than it has ever been, because spike shells are more rare, and you can hang on to defensive items more easily. But yes, that does happen where somebody can get really far ahead and be impossible to catch.
Since you've been that guy, does it ever become like too complacent, not really having anybody else to interact with, just having to drive?
No, because in 8, going off-road is so devastating that you will lose all momentum instantly. And even if you're half a lap ahead of the next guy, you still have to be focused on driving flawlessly, because if you hit the grass twice, that second place person will get you. So, and it's usually Val, and he usually has 6 red shells in a row.
That's something rather specific.
Yeah, I got personal at the end there, but yeah, if you're racing in first place, you really still have to drive well, and I don't get complacent in first place because I know that if I do, I might end up losing.
Yeah. Also, when it comes to racing, it's the hardest place to be in is first, because you don't have anyone to chase, and they done some test on this, and when you're racing, usually the guy that is behind is usually the faster one, but he can't get around the first one because he's blocking him all the time.
Right.
And the first one doesn't have anyone to chase after, so he don't have anyone to look at and try to see where the corners come and everything and things like that. So he is the one that have to feel in the curves and when to brake and everything, and when he should take the turns, and the guy behind him can observe that and do and take action accordingly.
Yeah, that definitely applies to real life. I mean, I ran track in high school, and the worst place to be running is by yourself. If you're way in first place, you don't really need to know your personal pacing, and I think that applies to a lot of racing video games as well.
Maybe not as much.
Well,
maybe it's not.
But
so
when
much
you're running,
Mario
can
Kart.
you get right behind somebody and start drafting them?
Actually, drafting is real. That's real.
It's very hard.
It's hard, yeah. But you're right, though. That is true.
If
Drafting
I
is also This is kind of a side note. Drafting is buffed in Mario Kart 8. Drafting is hugely helpful.
It is.
doing it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Drafting is. I've gotten first place in several races because I draft the third place person and shoot ahead of the second place person. It's drafting is good. Don't underestimate drafting.
I know.
I need to look.
So six. I'm kind of curious where you land on that XY graph of luck and skill. Like where do you like your games to be?
I like there to be a large amount of luck coupled with a large component of skill, because it means that all people of all kinds can participate. Like in those big poker tournaments, in any given heads-up match, some random nobody has maybe a 40% shot against a long-time poker pro, and that's really exciting, being able to have that chance. In other events with less random factors, there's no way an amateur would ever beat a pro in any kind of thing. That's where a lot of the mass appeal comes in. That's where a lot of people get all these hopes of winning it big. That's why people that play really badly will keep playing, and then I'll slowly take their chips.
Yes, people, please come to the game of poker. Please come. I need more money.
I think for my XY placement, where I want my games to be, it really depends on the setting. If I'm with friends, I would really love a game to be a lot of luck and a lot of skill, because then I can kind of even the playing field out, and there's not always just one winner who keeps winning and winning and winning. Whether or not that person is me depends on the game. But if it's high luck, high skill, like let's say Smash Brothers, I would equate Smash Brothers high luck, high skill to be free for all, items on. Because if you're good, you will dodge items, you will use items effectively, and that kind of thing. If I'm in a tournament though, and I want the game to be purely competitive, let's go with Smash Brothers again. Items off, balanced stages, and that to me is high skill. There's still some luck, but the luck is kind of controlled, and you can really react to the luck. Like, let's say luck being Peach's turnips. There's still the chance that she'll pull a Stitch Face, which is the strongest turnip in the game. But in that situation, then how to react to the Stitch Face and to the luck that is present. So in a competitive setting, in a tournament setting, I really like the luck to be lower and the skill to be higher. But if I'm just playing with friends, just dorking around, high luck, high skill, or even high luck, low skill are way, they're very acceptable to me.
I like the ability to turn off random components that aren't completely integrated into the core of the game itself, like Smash Bros. Items. The game still functions perfectly without them.
And it functions perfectly with them. That's why Smash Brothers is so beautiful, guys. It's such a wonderful thing. Anybody of any skill level can play it and have fun. I love that series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just got a little teary talking.
When I want my games, I think I'm kind of in the middle there, because I'm there that if you're good at the game, you should be able to pull ahead, but the people that you're playing with should also have a chance of winning. But that's like Marilyn said, that if I'm just goofing off with friends, if we have this huge X factor in everything, it just gets more fun because no one knows what's gonna happen next. But if I'm playing something more serious, for example League, it's a bit more. I don't want the luck to be so high, but I still think it would be good if it's there, because it would still keep that
unexpectedness.
The uncertainty what is going to happen next.
Oh yeah, League of Legends does one really interesting thing with, I believe, your critical hits, and that's if you take your base critical hit percentage, and if overall your attacks on average or critical hits have been below expected value, your chance of getting one in the next hit is actually slightly higher.
Really?
And if you're running above expected value, your chance of getting a crit in your next shot is a little bit lower, just to sort of balance out that random factor.
That's amazing. That kind of explains why like a Tryndamere who builds all crit will get crits on like a really steady basis. I've never thought about that or even considered that as an option. That's interesting.
Which is that's rather interesting in the sense that I guess it kind of plays in the idea that you do need a balance between luck and skill. It's like a game like League of Legends, which relies entirely on the numbers. That wouldn't really be as important if the luck was very lucky, which pretty much means that there would be a chance. Which the idea with luck, that you have a chance of all good options and all bad options, that you would have a chance of basically getting nothing but crits for the next 20 hits. As unlikely as that is, just as there's a chance of the worst possible option, like if there was a chance of a critical miss, that you would do that for the next 100 hits or so, as unlikely as that is. So being able to have it controlled yet still give them that little bit of hope, that, or being able to have it so that it still requires some, you have to work some amount to get to that, but the chance of having that helping hand help you, that's being able to have it be an even where it's not pulling you all the way to victory, but it's not there isn't one at all.
Yeah.
I think another game that does something interesting with the random generator is recent Fire Emblem games, and it does this by lying to you.
Do explain, because I've been playing Fire Emblem Awakening recently.
I believe in that game, and maybe a couple of the earlier ones, what you're what it says your hit percentage is not actually correct unless it's exactly 50%. When it's not 50%, it uses the average of two random numbers to determine if you hit. So therefore, an 80% hit rate is actually 80 plus another 80%, so about 96%.
Oh.
And therefore, the other way, a 20% hit chance would be 20% minus another 80%, or about 4%. And it only works with hit rates. And I guess it's for balance reasons as to make the more accurate units really more accurate.
Yeah.
And to stress, like, the importance of having good hit percentages.
That might very well change the way that I approach my next Fire Emblem mission. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. So I've been kind of getting wrecked on what I've been trying to do, and it's because I've been missing a lot. So that might help me.
Oh yeah. Never thought about it that way, and that it's like it's not only like they basically make it so that you think it's bad. It's actually worse than you think.
if you're attacking with under 50% hit rate, then yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's really.
I was trying a bit with Fallout 2, just because I wanted to test a bit of the theories I had about the random number generator in that game, but I couldn't really figure it out, just because I had this. I fixed it so I had this encounter, and I was going to hit someone, and I had 50% chance of hitting them. And the problem is that the game wouldn't give me all the numbers, because it said I had 50% chance of hitting them, and I did this like 10 times, and I didn't in the game just trying to hit them, and I think I had in total 40 hits, because he killed me pretty quickly. But I think I managed to land maybe 5 hits out of on 40 rounds of trying to hit him.
Yeah, but that's like gambler's fallacy. You can't, like, the assumption that because you got this one outcome this one time means you're not going to get it again. Or like, because it says 50%, you should assume that you're going to get it 50% of the time. When the reality is, it's basically re-rolling the same number, and you can basically get the same number again and again and again, no matter like what the chances are.
People try to find patterns in everything.
Yeah.
They're convinced that everything good happens and everything bad happens for specific reasons, but no, sometimes it's really just the luck of the cards.
Or you want to put that under control to increase your bank account.
And it's just how you play what you get.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then, when what you were saying, Tazzy, about gambler's fallacy and the 50% type thing, that if you have a large enough sample size and you have the distribution of that sample size, it really will be like right around 50%. Now, in isolated cases where let's say, flipping a coin, or rolling, getting a number in Mario Party or something like that, you might get a 10 in Mario Party 3 times in a row. But if you have the case of 4,000 Mario Party die rolls that you're keeping track of, then yeah, it will be like a 1 in 10 chance, unless you're winning the mini games, and then you'll get.
Yep, it's an extension of that one race to thousands of races, or one hand to. I believe in Hold'em to be like 99% confident of your win rate. You need about 4 million hands, so that's a thing.
Yeah, I would hope that the probability means something, because otherwise, why would we use it? I would hope that if they say 1 in 10 chance, it would be right in some way.
And that's why in Mario Kart you can still tell who the best racers are, because they will win a majority of the games. And if you have in your head a distribution happening. You can tell like who's up at the upper end and who's at the lower end of the skill pool, even if they don't win or lose all the time.
Yeah, just one thing. When you said coin flip, just reminded me of that in the Pokemon trading card game when you have the coin. Yeah,
so
when
many
you have
coin flips.
I've found out that those coin flips are set.
You mean the Game Boy game? Yeah, they are. I learned that when I was a kid. Actually.
Oh, really? In the Game Boy Color TCG game, they are
set.
They are set for the game, for the match, because the seed you get for that particular set of coin flips happens on when you do certain things.
Yeah,
so,
watch a tool-assisted speedrun.
Yeah, they really can see what doing with what you can do with the manipulation there. But
fascinating.
But the thing is, you can force the game to recount your or make a new number for you if you go in and do some changes in your card deck. That's the only one thing I remember that the game changed the number for. I think it was a couple more.
I didn't think that far ahead. I just thought that like when the coin flipping animation goes, if you press it on the button, if you press it on like the coin flip on the side of the coin you don't want, you'll get the other side.
Nope, nothing. I tried this.
It always works for me. I guess that I was wrong.
Yeah. Also, but then again, it's a bad example because that particular number generator is biased towards the computer player.
I think that just plays back into there's no such thing as true randomness.
No, they made they made it like so it. Computer. No, they made the game so the computer player would have an advantage in coin flips.
I guess. Like I said, that's something that's really hard for someone like me to really keep a track of.
I mean, I guess play a lot of matches against the computer and see how many times they get a flip in their favor, and eventually you'll get to a point where the probabilities are just way too impossible unless the coin was loaded in their favor.
Yeah.
Well, I already know the computer cheats.
Yeah, the thing was that I noticed this just by playing and by looking into. You said you looked at a tool-assisted speedrun. I did a bit of looked into their research, and I think the chance of you getting a coin flip in your favor is like something closer to 1 in 3 or something like that.
With extensive testing and everything?
What do you say?
With extensive testing.
Extensive testing and a huge amount of flipping?
I don't know how long the testing went. I just read some forums on test videos.
Let's see. I'm pretty sure we're going close over. Definitely going over an hour.
Nope, 53 minutes.
Or something to that effect.
But yeah, the thing is, it's such a big topic to discuss.
Yeah, we've been going all over the place. It almost felt like time was flying way too fast.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
I mean,
that's not even the more abstract luck. Like, if the person you're playing against is sick that day, or weather conditions in sporting matches, or
the wind is wrong.
That's real luck.
Yeah, that would be like a kind of a hockey game when one of the players was all of a sudden would break a fever on the field. All of a sudden, it just starts to play a bit worse because he's sick all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And is there really a way to?
That's meta luck.
Well, that wouldn't have happened if you wore your lucky jersey that day.
Superstitions. so many superstitions from all kinds of people on the internet. It's best on poker forums where you get all these insane conspiracy theories. It's so entertaining to read.
I can imagine it. I can imagine it.
Do you have a...
Sometimes superstition isn't actually luck though, like because sometimes it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like let's say that when I go to a Smash Brothers tournament and I have a special shirt that I wear, if I feel like I play better with that shirt on, I will more than likely play better with that shirt on because I have that shirt. It's a kind of thing where it's not actually real, but you can trick yourself into thinking it's real.
All right, confidence plays into it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can understand that because I have this thing when usually when I drive heavy machinery, if I'm not allowed to have my work pants on, for example, and a bit more rough clothing, I feel like I can't drive the machine as good as I used to. But I think that's part of the routine of driving that thing. Because you get more focused and you pay more attention to what's going on, and if you remove that, it just kind of feels a bit off.
Yeah, the state of your mind plays a bit into it as well. It's like there's tons of things. You can't just control them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you take on your work clothes and go to work. You don't go there in your long johns and a t-shirt and a pair of sandals and are supposed to do the same thing. It would feel a bit off, I imagine.
Mm-hmm. Still, you got to be careful on what exactly you attribute the increased performance to, especially if placebos could do the same thing. Like you thought you were wearing a lucky shirt, but it's a different one.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's true.
I haven't studied that much on placebos, though. It's an interesting effect, for sure.
So I guess, like, I suppose that in the end, what a hate for luck really is just a want for control, a need to have everything in the palm of your hand, when the truth really is that you have as little control as could be possible. The only thing you really can control is what you, like, the actions you do, the state of your mind, the control of the area around you, what other people are planning on doing, what could possibly happen in the next 5 seconds. The truth is that you have little to no control in any game.
But I deserve to win that match. There's a stupid blue shell.
Blue shells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
People think that they want total control. People think that they want total control, but if they had total control in every game, gaming would become stale. And that's why luck and luck factors are so important. It's kind of like how people think they want games to be entirely free choice, but linearity is not a bad thing. It's the same.
Yeah.
People don't not always know what's best.
Yeah.
Also,
Chess does not have a big, thriving community like other games do.
Yeah, that's true.
Still, a good game of chess can be very exciting. I wouldn't compare it to a football game, but there is some level of excitement in watching two people that really know their stuff compete against each other.
Mm-hmm. But it's almost getting to that just basic pattern memorization like Pac-Man thing, without too much actual adaptation. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Chess is very formulaic if you know what's up. It's kind of like Settlers of Catan. Even if you play Settlers of Catan with a random board, if you've played with enough people who have also played a whole bunch, you know instantly what spots on the board are the best, what spots you need to get, where you need to go, what ports you need. Like when the Settlers board is set up, even if it's set up randomly, you can analyze that board and just everybody at the table instantly knows where they need to go. And then it's just like the die roll. Whoever gets just placed there for a settlement, good job because you're at the best spot.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we're running towards the hour mark here.
Excellent.
So I was going to just say that we'd try to round things off.
Yeah, sounds good. I've got to get
yeah.
going anyway.
Yeah. So just as an ending note here, do you guys have any particular thing that happened where luck was heavily involved during a gameplay?
Well, I was playing Melee with my friend who is a Peach main, and he got 3 Stitch Face turnips in one game, which the odds of that happening are astronomical. But it was also great because this is one of those things where you get to adapt to the luck and play based on the luck. I play Dr. Mario, so when he gets a Stitch Face, he is just as scared as I am because I've got my cape, and I can reflect that turnip right back at him. And Stitch Face is scary, but if there's a character that has a reflect, the Peach gets just as scared. So it was he got 3 Stitch Faces in one match, and I got KO'd by one, but I KO'd him with the other 2.
Oh,
so
nice.
It was crazy thing.
Yeah.
A few years ago when I was playing cash games where you can buy in for like $100, I got in all $100 with queens on a king queen jack flop with 2 other opponents who had jacks and kings. The river card was the one queen I needed to scoop a $300 pot.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Tassi?
I'm trying to think.
Well, you can do that. I can take mine. It isn't anything spectacular, but I was playing poker with my grandma and my little brother. This is years back, and I was having this winning streak, and my brother was like 3 at the time, so he was less than happy that I won all the time. So Grandma asked when he was out in the toilet if I couldn't lose this game just to cheer my little brother up, and I decided to. Yeah, I can do that. So she deals the cards, and when I pick them up, I have a royal straight flush.
Woohoo!
So it was kind of hard to lose at that point.
Mine might not be as positive as the rest of you. You were asking for a particular luck-involved moment, right?
Yeah.
So, particularly, I just remembered Pokemon Stadium 2, and that basically it just kind of comes down to what I had to go through to actually beat it. Of all of Gym Leader Castle, there's like at least 2 trainers I think I remember outside of like the gym leaders.
Yeah.
And like one is the trainer before Claire, who like just kind of goes around trying to put your Pokemon to sleep, and Black Belt Nick, who is like the first person you face in Cyanwood Gym in Gym Leader Castle. And his thing is that all of his Pokemon have one-hit kill moves. But here, like, and to anyone who knows about Pokemon and is like, oh, well, you know, one-hit kill moves go off of speed. As long as your Pokemon, you got a bunch of fast Pokemon, it's no problem. Problem is, or like, I think it was like level, actually. Problem is that, that's not how it worked in Pokemon Stadium games. In both games, it basically kind of came down to 50-50 shot. So basically, every time, like, he would use it all the time, Fissure or Horn Drill, and, like, on every single one of his Pokemon. And that basically meant that it was a dice roll to determine whether your Pokemon stood up against that or not.
Oh.
So, mostly just had to keep going through that, trying to beat this guy, like, over and over again. But what that basically turned into is that it made me remember him. And in the end, when I actually beat him, it felt a lot more worthwhile than if I had gone up against him the first time and like beat him in my first go. Like I would have forgotten him. But now I remember his name and I know exactly who. Like I remember everything about that fight. Because
Screw you, Nick.
Because
Tazzy, I think you're confusing the speed affecting accuracy. Speed has never affected accuracy in Pokemon.
it affected crits.
It affected crits.
Yeah.
Speed affected crit percentage in Gen 1.
I
But
think it was
accuracy
level, actually.
accuracy has always been a pure dice roll.
Yeah.
The one-hit kills work differently from what I remember. Like, the higher you were from your opponent, the better you would get a chance of, like, one-hit KOing them, if I remember right. But
I've never heard that, but maybe you're right.
so
Yeah.
that was just a case of, like, bad and, like, a luck that turns against you actually helping to the game's favor. Because now I actually, like, remember that more fondly than I would have if it was just a normal fight in the end. It's weird.
Yeah. And with that, I'm gonna stop this now because I'm running like 1 minute and 1 hour and 6 minutes. So
66 minutes, perfect.
yeah.
Oh.
Hey, we have 6 on our show. We got 66 minutes. This is a beautiful.
Yeah, it works great. Anyway, I'm gonna sign out. So say bye, everybody.
Bye,
See ya!
Bye, video game forumites.